Cats are designed to wake up at dawn. That is biology, programmed through millions of years of evolution. It can't be changed. That's what I thought. Then one morning I noticed my cat wasn't waking up at dawn. Not when there was a noise. Not when there was light. It woke up when I woke up. Every single day. Without fail. I started keeping track. And what I found in that data wasn't about a habit, but about a decision your cat makes every day that you never realized was a decision. Wild cats sleep up to 16 hours a day, but on their own cycle. Peak activity is at dawn and dusk. That biological clock is anchored to the sun, not to humans. That is their natural rhythm. And it isn't easily altered. But when I started tracking my cat's sleep schedule, documenting every day, every hour, I realized it wasn't living by that clock anymore. It was living by my clock. The question is, why? And the answer completely changes how I understand the relationship between us. Before talking about the change, I need to talk about what's being changed. Wild cats don't sleep for one long, continuous stretch. They sleep in short cycles, waking up at dawn and dusk to hunt, then going back to sleep. Their entire nervous system is built for that rhythm. The light changes, hormones change. Their body reacts, automatically. No learning required. Research on circadian rhythms in cats at the University of Zurich confirms that wild and feral cats maintain strict crepuscular cycles regardless of the season or environment. That clock is regulated by melatonin and cortisol hormones that respond to light, not to noise, not to human activity. When I started documenting my cat's sleep schedule, I expected to see that exact cycle. Peak activity early in the morning, deep sleep in the middle of the day, waking up again at dusk. Instead, I saw my own sleep schedule reflected back through another living creature. Your cat was born with a biological clock completely different from yours. The fact that it isn't living by that clock anymore, that's the part that needs explaining. But this is where things start getting far more interesting. My cat wakes up at 6:30 a.m. I wake up at 6:30 a.m. I thought it was because it heard my alarm. Then one week I turned the alarm off and slept later than usual. My cat didn't wake up at 6:30. It woke up the exact moment I started moving. Not at the same time on the clock, at the same time as me. A 2020 study on synchronization behavior in domestic cats showed that cats living with people adjust their activity cycles to overlap with their owner's schedule, especially the times they wake up and go to sleep. What's remarkable is that this synchronization isn't driven by light or noise. It's driven by the presence of a specific person. And science actually backs up what I saw next. I asked a family member to stay overnight and wake up at 5 a.m. 2 hours earlier than my normal schedule. My cat didn't wake up with them. It stayed put and waited for me. If this is making you look at your mornings in a different light right now, that's exactly why this channel exists. Your cat isn't synchronized with the house's schedule. It's synchronized with your schedule, just you. This is the part I wish I'd known sooner, and it's the part most people overlook when discussing this topic. Changing a biological schedule isn't a small thing. For a cat, it means sleeping less during the hours their body is designed to sleep the deepest, staying awake at times when their nervous system wants to shut down. This isn't something they do unconsciously. This is something their body has to actively fight against. Research on sleep in domestic cats compared to wild cats shows that domestic cats have shorter and more interrupted REM cycles, especially those living in environments with daytime human activity. Physiologically, this is a real trade-off. The cat is sacrificing its optimal sleep quality to maintain proximity to you. Once I understood this, I looked back at the times my cat fell asleep on the couch in the middle of the day in a completely different way. It wasn't being lazy. It was making up for what it gave up in the morning just to be with me. Every time your cat wakes up with you in the morning, that's a choice with a cost. And it's decided you're worth that cost. The question remains, why? Why would an animal with perfect predatory instincts voluntarily disrupt its biological cycle to match the schedule of another species? The answer isn't about habit. It isn't about food. It's about attachment and what attachment truly means to a cat. A 2019 study on attachment styles at Oregon State University found that cats form attachments to humans in a way similar to human infants with their caregivers. In that model, the caregiver is the safe base, the source of security that the cat orients its entire behavior around. Sleep synchronization is an expression of that. Maintaining closeness to the safe base becomes a biological priority, superseding even the original biological rhythm. I wasn't the one feeding it on that schedule. I wasn't the only person in the house, but I was the only one it synchronized with. That tells me something very specific about how it categorizes me. Your cat doesn't view you as an owner. It views you as the center of its secure environment, and it adjusts its biology according to that. After understanding all of this, I started noticing the small moments I'd completely missed before. First, it wakes up within minutes of me starting to move, not when there's a noise. Second, in the evening when I get ready for bed, it starts looking for a spot closer to me, even if it's been somewhere else all day. Third, on days I sleep in, it sleeps in too. Fourth, when my schedule suddenly changes, its sleep schedule also takes a few days to readjust. I checked all 4 of these things after understanding the mechanism. They were all true. Not just once, but consistently. Every week, for months. You don't need a camera to confirm this. You just need to start paying attention to what's always been there. Remember this. What I'm about to say next is the thing that completely changed how I understand this entire relationship. Those 5 layers all lead to the exact same point. And that point isn't about sleep. It isn't about biology. It isn't about rhythms or hormones or biological clocks. It's about a much simpler question, but the answer isn't simple at all. When an animal is willing to alter the most deeply programmed thing in its body, what is it telling you? We often talk about cats as independent creatures, autonomous, not needing anyone. And in a sense, that's true. They don't need you to survive. They can hunt. They can take care of themselves. They can live completely alone if they have to. But here is what the data actually shows. A cat doesn't need to change its biological schedule to survive. It doesn't need to wake up with you. It doesn't need to go to sleep when you go to sleep. It doesn't need to organize its entire cycle of rest around the presence of one person. Its biology doesn't require that. But it does it anyway. Not out of habit. Not for food. But because at some point during its life with you, you became more important than its natural rhythm. We often wonder if cats are truly attached to us, if they care about our presence. If the relationship is truly a two-way street, here's my answer. An animal that's willing to restructure its biology just to be close to you isn't just putting up with your presence. It's choosing you. Every single day. In the deepest way its biology allows. Now that you know this, the next time your cat wakes up with you in the morning, you'll know it isn't just a habit. It's a choice, and it makes that choice every single day. If you want to know what your cat actually does during the hours you aren't around, I set up cameras and recorded for 14 consecutive days. What that footage showed picks up right where this video leaves off.